start off, first let me tell you a little bit about my car. It's a 96 Chevy Cavalier. It has chip paint, basically looks like one of those cars you want to replace immediately. So I drove up, made sure me and my fiance kind of, you know, just looked your average run-in-the-mill family trying to get a new car. We pulled up, nobody really looked at us or anything like that. It was about 15 or 20 minutes before, because we were looking at like the lower price cars, about 5,000, 6,000, and they were like, "Hi, can I help you?" So right then and there, you know, there was no meet and greet or anything like that. I told them, yeah, I want a car, but I don't want it more than like $7,000. So right then and there, I was already controlling it, and didn't find out his name until after we got into his office, and then he was talking. You know, didn't ask me about my trade-in. I was like, you know, well, what about my car? I want to trade it in. And he was like, well, I don't know if I can give you very much for, you know, what it's worth, because it doesn't look like it's worth much.
Right. Right.
So I told him, well, my car still runs. It just has body work. It just needs to be painted.
Let's pause there for 1 second. Remember yesterday, and don't ever insult somebody's car, okay? Because it could be sentimental value to them. But perhaps by doing it the flip side, yesterday during the interview process, we learned to, if they're trading in their vehicle, we ask them, what's the one thing you like about their car? Okay, because then you know what? They're going to tell you, you know, I like the size. I like the fuel economy of the car. At least that way you kind of got an idea of what's important to them, so you can kind of cater that into your presentation on the next vehicle. Yeah. Then what do? We ask them, what don't you like about the car? And then we have them list every single thing under the sun. What improvements would you like in your new or newer vehicle?
Yeah, I mean, I had to tell him. He didn't ask me.
So that way you haven't insulted him.
I'd like to know where you went.
Oh, I went to Pearson Used Honda. I went there once before. The guy seemed like he was new or something like that. I asked for the person who sold me my first car that I ever had. He wasn't there, and then when I asked him, you know, he wasn't there, and the guy took me. He just, I guess from the look of my car, kind of treated me like I wasn't worth the time or the money, and, you know.
You judge the book by the cover.
Basically. Okay. So I told him, well, you know what, I'm not doing business with you, so I left.
Okay. What would you have done differently?
Definitely would have greeted the person, you know, interviewed, you know, at least, you know, even though my car doesn't look like much, maybe, you know, I was saving up for something better. So
that's exactly right.
Were you looking for, you know, are you looking on the low budget? Because I see you're in the, you know, the 4 digits. So do you want to go look at a car that's like about, I don't know, something nice for a low price? Right.
Basically at that point in time, it's giving them a proper interview. Because, I mean, obviously that person's there to attempt to buy a vehicle. We don't know they can't buy a vehicle. We don't know. Remember the story I told you about the woman that was carrying around $28,000 cash in her purse? Real life story. That salesperson didn't know that you had $8,000 cash in your car. They have no idea that maybe a parent or a grandparent, maybe someone just passed away and left you some money. We have absolutely no idea what your story is. That's why I had you guys do an interview the first day. You interviewed your new best friend, introduced them to the class, because guess what? You didn't know the answers to those questions until you did what? Class? Interviewed them. So he has no idea that you weren't there to buy a car that day. Yet another lost opportunity. Even though I instructed everybody not to buy a car, okay, we still had a lot of lost opportunities. Do you feel that based upon your training thus far, you could do a better job?
Run circles around this guy.
I think you could too. Round of applause.